I am the Craft Dad. How you doing, YouTube Nation? Okay, so getting started here with the foam sword. We got our template. We're pinning it down. These pins are going in where the center of the gems are going to be. This is because I plan to drill out these areas later. However, it's hard to see the holes, and then having to swap back and forth is problematic. This is where friends come in handy. If you're working on a project, it's best not to work alone. Friends are very helpful in helping you figure out how to solve problems. So because I already made the holes from pinning it, I'm now using a marker with a very sharp point, and I'm just puncturing it through, and as it punctures through, it leaves a tiny black mark. The only place that's an issue is where the core material has been removed. Next, you'll take your permanent black marker and make the holes even darker so that you can easily identify them later. Now that we have our base sword cut out, it's time to start adding in the holes for the LED lights and the glowing gems that I am planning on. For this, I'm using a template I have to kind of figure out what size hole I'm going to need to mark the foam template with. Once you have your hole size, then transfer that over to your template. Simply try to center as best you can and draw your circle. Don't panic if it's not perfect. You can always redo it. Now that we have our circles drawn, how do we cut them out? Do we burn them out? Do we drill them out? Do we use a knife and try to cut circles out? I know we can wait for the magical hole cutting fairy. Or we can use the same drill bits that I used previously and cut out the holes that we need. For this, we use scrap wood again. This is why it's important to have scrap wood around. We're going to drill through the foam into the wood, and hopefully this will give us a nice clean circle. What I'm doing here is cutting a test piece. This is why it's good to keep your scraps around, because you can always use them for something else. As we start cutting, this is in fast forward, so we'll see it quickly. We're cutting through, and one of the things I found out is that you don't want to cut over the same hole, because then it has a tendency to move your bit and cause you to cut a hole that's not quite a circle. So move your piece around on the wood and cut new holes as you work your piece. Wanting to try something different and see the results, I elevated my foam piece above two other pieces of wood to form a gap for the drill bit. In doing this, what I found out is that the back side where the drill bit comes out doesn't come out nice and clean, and I end up having to tear off pieces of foam that didn't quite get drilled out nicely. Again, having friends with you while you do this helps. And they suggested that why don't I just stack the two pieces together so that when I drill the holes, they'll be lined up perfectly with each other. And of course, that's a great idea. Now that we have the holes, next we want to start figuring out where the lines for the LEDs and the resistors are going to go. So with just a black marker, I draw offshoots and then a main channel. I then start using my Dremel attachment and one of the bits I have to start dremeling out the channel. This is just the glass cutting bit. I make sure the depth is pretty deep because I know I'm going to be stacking 2 to 3 wires inside of the channel. As you can see here, I'm trying to spread out where the channels are so that I'm not stacking too many lines into one. As you can see here, I'm slowly dremeling out the lines, making the channel deeper. Eventually I went back and made it even deeper, and then even came back with a soldering iron with the flat tip type attachment to really clean out the lines. Next, we need to drill the hole into the PVC pipe so that I can run my wires through the pipe to where I plan to put the battery. Luckily for me, I had bought a device that allows me to easily center the PVC pipe and drill the hole.